In 1976, Osama's older brother, Osama bin Laden, hired a man in Texas by the name of Jim Bath to handle all the investments in the United States for the bin Laden family. Jim Bath also happens to be a personal, almost lifelong friend and former Air National Guard pilot with George W. Bush. The connections between the Bushes and the bin Ladens become much more clear when George Herbert Walker Bush made trips to Saudi Arabia in 1998 and 2000 to meet with the bin Laden family on behalf of a company called the Carlyle Group.
It's 8 years of lies that the American public has not been aware of. Most of the world is aware that we've been lied to, and it was an inside job. And but our mainstream media has been it's been corrupted and overtaken by pretty much a fascist government. Is what we're running right now. What's being run on us is a fascist government, which means it's a government that's run by corporate interests, and the politicians and the corporations are in bed together. And basically, if you look back in history, this is kind of a remake of Germany during World War II, Germany before World War II, the Weimar Republic. It happened, Hitler did a thing on his Reichstag, which was the German Parliament building. He burned it down, and it was done by people that were employed by him and his cronies, as it were. And Bush seems to have taken the playbook right out of Hitler's handbook. And another thing is that Bush's grandfather helped finance Hitler. He was one of the major financiers that funneled money to the Hitler regime. It's all pretty disgusting. We're living under Nazi rule. Right about now, you can if you know anything about history, you can go and study Germany before World War II. Hitler was elected by a democratic, middle class, a thriving German community state, and when he burned his Reichstag, he already had a Patriot Act ready to go, just as George Bush did. It was all printed up, and all it needed was an act of terrorism, false flag terror, which is what happened to us on 9/11. And there's a great new book about it called Family of Secrets.
I'm afraid of what's happening in my country. Although I have a lot of questions, as a lot of American patriots who are truly awake have about 9/11. It's bigger than 9/11. It's bigger than anything that could ever be perpetrated upon us up until now. It's the end of the republic. Our republic is falling, and if people don't wake up and realize that if the government can pull off something like this against its own people because all it cares about is profit, it doesn't care about people, then our country's not going to make it back. So I'm out here to show people that, number one, I believe in my country still because I'm not afraid of my government. Our government works for us, we do not work for them, and I think if people stand up and take some accountability for that and realize that they need to be responsible as Americans, because this is what being American means, getting up and saying what you think and feel. George Orwell said, freedom is having the right to tell people what they don't want to hear. So that's what we're doing here today, and I just hope that it brings people together and doesn't tear us apart, because that's what our government and the world government wants to do. I want to call for a new investigation.
I'm here because I think we all have a lot of questions, and there's no reason they shouldn't be answered.
He says some of us found out the hard way that the greatest enemies of the Constitution are not to be found in the sands of some far-off land, but right here at home.
9/11 was an inside job. The buildings will not collapse on their own footprint and free fall speed. People need to wake up. There's much more at stake than just the fact that this was an inside job. It's what the consequences of ignoring that. We're under attack, and we need to stand up for our rights, stand up for who we are, stand up for the country we love, and call for a new investigation.
Well, enough evidence has come to light. I mean, that's not the problem. The problem is getting the federal government to stop stopping the investigations. I mean, we don't need any more evidence. Explosive residue is plenty of evidence.
Basically, building 47 stories fell down into its own footprint at the speed of gravity. The media didn't cover this, you won't see it anywhere, but you can do your research and you can find out about Building 7.
That's why we're here, man.
Yeah, we don't want to come in here like, tear everything down or anything crazy like that. We're just here to make sure we're safe.
Busier places. All right, let's move this sign down here.
I got nothing to say except 9/11 was an inside job. No doubt about it. And we need a new investigation.
We've been lied to, we've been robbed. 9/11 was an inside job. We've been lied to, we've been robbed. 9/11 was an inside job. Call for a new investigation into the 9/11 atrocities. Look at who has benefited from these crimes. Dick Cheney and his war machine made millions. No steel buildings in history before or since have ever collapsed from fire. Wake up, America. Look at what the people in charge are doing for your name, in your name. Wake up and demand a new investigation. No steel buildings have ever collapsed from fire before or since. The nanothermites were the reason the buildings collapsed like a controlled demolition. The evidence has been found. Watch the videos. Google Building 7. Watch Zeitgeist the movie. Watch Loose Change. There's lots of evidence out there. Yesterday I had the courage to finally do something Bruno's always trying to teach us to do, which is talk to a cop. We try to do talk to a cop every Wednesday. I talked to one yesterday on Thursday. And just to say, that it really doesn't matter who our president is now. We have to realize that we're all on one side to defend our freedoms before they vanish from corporate domination. And as I spoke to him about the concerns of 9/11 investigations and the first responders that were not being taken care of properly, I was so surprised. He looked at me and went, well, we did that. And I said, I'm so glad you said it first. I was afraid to say it to you because no soldier likes to hear they died for a lie, and a lot of the cops don't want to hear that 9/11 was an inside job. And he goes, oh no, I know that we did it. And it really gives you courage if you have the intelligence and the will to investigate and speak to people and just bring it up as a conversation. You'll be surprised how many people know and think these things and just need someone to feel they can trust talking to about it. Spread the word, spread the truth. And definitely let's get a new investigation. One that really is a real investigation, not a whitewash. We've been lied to, we've been robbed. 9/11 was an inside job. We've been lied to, we've been robbed. 9/11 was an inside job.
Just coming out here to support promoting truth and trying to raise awareness about the events of 9/11. Hopefully we're getting a positive response. The facts are in and it's pretty much undeniable at this point. It's just getting people to look at the evidence. So that's what we're doing out here. Yes, and we're calling for a new investigation of 9/11.
Hi, my name is Ann. I've been involved in the 9/11 truth movement now for about 6 years. I've seen from the grassroots growing stronger and stronger and stronger. People are not accepting the official story. They want to know what really happened. Organizations are popping up like this one, Firefighters for 9/11 Truth. There's Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. There's Patriots Question. There's Pilots for 9/11 Truth. There's lawyers now for 9/11 Truth. There's doctors that are speaking out. We need to know what really happened, and until we do, we can't be silenced. We won't be silenced, and there will not be peace. 9/11 started the war in Iraq, a country that did not attack us. It was a pretext to get in there, to take their oil fields. We're in a quagmire. We're being bankrupted. It's time to stop. Our troops, the only way to truly support our troops is to bring them home.
I'm Brooke Kelly, and I am the Truth Fairy. You may not like me, but I'm not going to go away. 9/11 was an inside